Speaker Martin's Amaewhule-led House of Assembly in Rivers State has again accused Governor Siminialayi Fubara of having the penchant to disobey court judgments and constitutional provisions. The lawmakers also vowed to make Fubara's appointees and permanent secretaries aiding him to circumvent the law have their dates with the law. The lawmakers made the resolutions during their 65th sitting on Monday at the legislative quarters located along the popular Aba Road. The lawmakers applauded the judgment of Justice J.O. Abdul Malik stopping government from withdrawing from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state until the 2024 appropriation bill is presented before a properly constituted assembly, describing it as a sound and well considered ruling. The members took their turns to comment the judgment after a copy of it was laid on the floor of the House by the leader of the House, Major Jack. The document was received and adopted as a working document of the House, with some lawmakers describing it as the face of constitutional democracy. The statement explained that the Rivers State House of Assembly on 15th July 2024 deliberated and resolved on the continuous refusal of Fubara to present the 2024 Rivers State Appropriation Bill to the House. The lawmakers then took the decision to write to the state governor to shut down on expenditure pursuant to Section 122 of the 1999 Constitution. Enabled by this resolution, the House and Amaewhule filed an action before the Federal High Court to determine whether Fubara could expend or continue to expend from the consolidated revenue of the state without a valid 2024 appropriation bill by the State House of Assembly. Commenting on the judgment, Amaewhule said, "Since 1st of July 2024, Governor Fubara has been spending monies of the state without approval, hence the declaration of the shutdown of expenditure. Yet, the governor, in its characteristic manner of disobeying judgments of court, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and extant laws, have continued to circumvent the law with the aid of permanent secretaries and some individuals who parade themselves as commissioners. They will certainly have a date with the law." Amaewhule thanked members for their steadfastness and urged them to continue in their defense of democracy, adding that those who trample on the country's constitution would be meant to account for their malfeasance. He referred to the decision of the Federal High Court as a landmark judgment, stressing that it was illegal, unlawful, and a subversion of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for Fubara and his appointees to continue to spend from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state without a valid 2024 appropriation law. Daniel, what is your take on this statement by the Rivers State House of Assembly accusing the governor of disobeying court judgments and the Constitution?
No, he never did.
He didn't disobey court judgments?
No. See, the point is this, and we must understand. First, I am an advocate of good governance,
right.
Which also means that laws should be obeyed by court. But by the time there are judgments, and the simple meaning is, once you appeal a judgment, it then means that you do not agree with what the lower court is saying. It doesn't mean that you are disobeying court order. It will be foolish of His Excellency to reprobate why he had gone to the Court of Appeal and then go back to present that budget. The purpose of going to the upper court is just a simple fact that he does not agree with what the lower court has said. And then to the issue of the fact that they presented the judgment on the floor of the House, that is not the final court. And we must be careful here. For me, I had the privilege to be here the day we had that discussion on that judgment from the Federal High Court and what my detailed opinions are on that issue. But I think it is a continuum. It's something continuum. There's no end to it until the Supreme Court makes a final pronunciation. But the fact that we will now begin to tag, like what they said there, you now begin to tag certain persons, his appointees and all of that as a target, for me, it doesn't spell out well. But, you know, the other day we had a conversation off camera where I was saying that all of this will have to settle out to be a political issue, a political resolutions had to come in, because all of these court issues will not spell well for the Rivers people. But again, I would not agree with the Senators of Assembly saying that the governor has penchant for disobeying court orders. I think he has appealed, which is a common sense thing to do. If he has not appealed, then we will now begin to ask the governor, why would you not obey the last judgment because you have not appealed? The appeal has given him the room, has given him that a legal right to say, I have appealed that judgment. Appealing a judgment doesn't mean that you have disobeyed the lower court judgment. And of course, those lower court judgments were not declarative judgments, like judgments that require enforcement. They were judgment delivered, not declarative.
Which of the judgment was not declarative?
No, none was declarative. If you had, for example,
instances.
No, let me give you an instance. When you had the issue of Edo State, and the judge at the Federal High Court Abuja said that seat was not vacant, directing the IG to take immediate effect. The Edo State government, if you remember, quickly came out to say they had what was the terminology used now, that they had already gone to the court for stay of execution. Thank you for that. For stay of execution. That's what they have done. This does not warrant a stay of execution, because there is nothing in that judgment that requires declarative. Declarative means that there should be enforcement now. And there's nothing in that judgment that requires from Justice Omotosho to the Court of Appeal.
Justice Omotosho, in the judgment of 22nd January 2024, ordered, in that ruling, in fact, I'm using his statement, he ordered the governor to represent the budget. How declarative can he get?
No, see.
No, hold on.
Okay.
He ordered the governor to represent the budget to Amaewhule-led State House of Assembly. You understand? So when you say, at what point is hold on. Okay. Is the police in this instance going to drag the governor to represent the budget? No.
That's not the issue. If you remember, makes sense to me. If you remember clearly the recent judgment from the Court of Appeal that had a strong worded statement to the governor, calling him clearly close to a dictator, regarding the fact that he has not yet, he can't continue to rule a state without a proper recognized legislature. If you remember, the Rivers State government went for stay of execution of that judgment, and they did appeal to the Supreme Court. But my position is that it is difficult to call someone that he has penchant, the award, that he has penchant for disobedience of court order. If he has appealed, what appeal means is that I do not agree with what the lower court has said. I wait for the further courts to make pronouncement. And if the Supreme Court makes its pronouncement,
the question would be, at what point did the governor appeal the judgment of the High Court?
No, if it was late, the Court of Appeal would have said that.
How many months? One of the things the Court of Appeal said, and if you recall in that judgment, the governor was even, the Court of Appeal fined the governor and told the governor to pay a sum of 500,000 naira to each of the respondents. The Court of Appeal went ahead to say that the governor cannot approbate and reprobate. Because if you recall, on 30th November 2023, the governor or would I say the government of Rivers State, withdrew their counter affidavit from the court. Now, if they withdrew their counter affidavit from the court, the question would be, where is the locus? And that was one of the things the appeal court said. Now, while I am not exactly focused on that, I am looking at the accusation on the governor, you know, that the Rivers State House of Assembly saying that the governor has a penchant for disobeying judgments and constitution. Now, you on one hand said no, that the governor has not disobeyed the judgment, the governor has not disobeyed the constitution. Now, one of the things, let's look at different issues surrounding this. And you also talked about the fact that the commissioners, the House of Assembly coming for the commissioners is wrong and out of place. Now, if I may ask you, Daniel, what constitutes, they have 32 members of Rivers State House of Assembly, correct?
Correct.
What constitutes 1/3 majority?
No, see.
It's a direct question.
No, it's about 11.
About 11.
About 11.
All right. Do you recall the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Joshua Dariye, the former governor of Plateau State?
When he was impeached.
When he was impeached. Do you recall what the Supreme Court said?
No, see.
Let me remind you what the Supreme Court said.
Okay.
The Supreme Court said that when a house of assembly does not constitute the required quorum, there are certain legislatures that requires 1/3. There are certain legislations that requires 2/3. Now, the Supreme Court ruled that when a house does not form the required quorum to legislate on a matter, they cannot legislate. Now, the Supreme Court went ahead to say they can sit, they can gather, they can sit, they can choose, because, I mean, according to the Nigerian Constitution, there is a number of sitting that is required, and there is for every lawmaker. And when a house self does not even sit for those number of times, or are absent for a period of time according to the Constitution, that house is invalid. The Constitution provides that. But in this instance, it will not invalidate the house. The Supreme Court said, sit. However, in matters concerning 1/3 majority, in matters concerning 2/3 majority, as long as that house does not, meet up to that requirement, they cannot legislate. The question would be, this is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and you have said Rivers State House of Assembly makes up of 32 seats, right? And in this instance, 1/3 is 11 seats. However, the governor presented a bill to 4 members of the House of Assembly as at the 11 quorum, 1/3 majority that should actually sit and legislate. Now, by implication, are you saying it is okay for 4 constituencies to legislate for an entire Rivers State?
No, I think the context here, the validity or otherwise of Martin Amaewhule, that is not in contention.
We are looking at the Constitution.
No, I'm building a thought towards what you have raised. Martin Amaewhule, to me, Daniel Momo, is the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. That is, for me, is not in contention. From the Federal High Court ruling to the Court of Appeal. But the bone of contention is the budget. As for me.
Not just the budget.
No, I'm coming.
The story says Martin Amaewhule accused the governor, the Rivers State House of Assembly. Let's not narrow it down to the budget, because there are a lot of constitutional infractions that the Rivers State House of Assembly has accused the governor of. So now, we are not limiting it to the budget, because they talked about the judgments of courts, they talked about the Constitution as well. So I am asking you a question with regards to what is obtainable in Nigerian Constitution, and also premising my question on the judgment of Supreme Court with regards to legislatures sitting and legislating in matters that they did not have a quorum. If you say the judgment of the Supreme Court does not hold water in this instance, I will now ask, why was Joshua Dariye returned? I'm just asking rhetorical question. I'm not saying that you said. Go ahead, because you recall that the Supreme Court returned Joshua Dariye based on that judgment. So go ahead.
Of course, even the man from Ibadan, Oyo State, Rashidi Ladoja, was returned back by the Supreme Court. Those are clearly matters settled in law. And for me, the Speaker of the Rivers State Assembly is Martin Amaewhule, me, Daniel Momo, from the judgments that I have seen so far, until another court says otherwise. But my focus here is that if you say the Rivers State government disobeyed court order, and I'm particularly looking at what are the orders that he disobeyed. One, he refused to recognize Martin Amaewhule as the Speaker of the Rivers State Assembly, and so he doesn't do government business with his led House of Assembly. And I'm saying that on that, because there are other matters in court as to Martin Amaewhule, whether they have defected or not. And I had the privilege here some time ago where we actually debate on matters of who actually resigned from a political party. And can Martin Amaewhule be regarded as someone who has withdrawn from the PDP? But I'm saying that the matters relating directly to the governor, that we would say that he disobeyed court order, which pronouncements are still valid for me on my head here, is regarding the elections that was conducted in Rivers State, the local government elections.
The governor did not disobey?
No, he did not disobey, because as at that material time, there were courts of coordinate jurisdictions who gave concurrent orders, though differ. And so the governor is at liberty. No, I'm coming.
You get
no.
I don't want to.
No. I'm looking at
so penchant. We do not forget.
No. The penchant. No, for me, the penchant.
Daniel, hold on.